Hi everyone, this is Kim from Path International. Today we're going to go over the CEU guidelines for certified professionals and where to find them on the website, and I will also go over the actual page to explain some of the frequently asked questions that I have about CEUs. So the first thing you'll want to do is go to pathintl.org. Once you get to the website, to look at the CEU guidelines page, you do not need to be logged in as a member. You're welcome to log in if you like, but being logged in or not logged in will not change the look of the page that we're going to. In order to get to the CEU guidelines page, what you want to do first is, once you get to the website, click on the Path International Certified Instructor square. It's the farthest square over to the right, which is blue, and that's going to bring you to a list of our certifications. And so you'll see all of the different certifications listed on this page with different colored circles. You can actually click on these different circles to get more information about the different certifications. That's where you would find application booklets, certification booklets, and other important information. But today, like I said, we're just going to be looking at the CEU guidelines, which the link can be found in the paragraph to the right of each certification. This is where you can actually also find a copy of the current compliance form, which is in the very first sentence. It said updated annual compliance form is located here. So right now I'm just going to click on the CEU guidelines page and continue on with our discussion. Alright, so this is what the new CEU guidelines page looks like. We did try to make it a little bit more user-friendly so it can flow better for you guys. So up at the top we have the basic guidelines. Number 1, continuing education activities should involve active participation, reflect pursuit of professional development, and encourage self-reflection, ultimately enhancing your instruction skills and expanding knowledge related to the EAAT industry. So you want to make sure that the CEUs that you're pursuing definitely are in line with that. For example, CEUs that we would not accept would be something like a math course that you took at a college level. Obviously, math courses generally are not going to help you as an instructor in pursuit of professional development in the EAAT industry. However, if you were to take something like an anatomy and physiology course, a psychology course, that would definitely be accepted because it does help you in the EAAT industry, and also as an instructor to understand how your participants move on the horse. The second thing is, continuing education hours translate directly from clock hours. So what that means is 60 minutes on the clock is 1 CEU, or continuing education unit. So if you do something that's 30 minutes long, you get 0.5 CEUs. If you do something that's 2 hours long, that's 2 CEUs. Continuing education opportunities are not limited to events sponsored by Path International. So we definitely encourage you guys to seek education outside of our organization. Definitely with the new requirements, we've tried very hard to add some more educational opportunities to the website for everyone, especially for folks who are in areas that may not cater to different disabilities, and educating folks on those disabilities in some of those areas. So we have added more online courses, videos, and webinars. So you guys can definitely take a look at that in our online store. However, as this does state, you are not limited to what we offer. You are welcome to branch out and find other reputable websites through different associations, foundations, colleges or universities. Anybody that has some reputable online education would be just fine. You can even give the Path International office a call, and I'm happy to make some suggestions for folks to find different education. The other point is that Path International certified professionals must submit compliance and dues annually. So that does mean, of course, it's on a yearly basis. As stated down here, it's a 1-year renewal cycle that renews on your membership expiration date. So even if you received your certification on a different date in the year, it's always going to expire with your membership. And you always must submit both your compliance form and your payment together, as stated here. Payment of annual membership dues and submission of 20 continuing education hours obtained during the previous 12 months. So let's pretend that you renew in April of 2017. So when you submit your 20 hours of CEUs along with your $85 membership payment, what we would like to see is hours that are from April 2016 to April 2017. Moving on to the next section, Path International Certified Professional Continuing Education Requirements. So as stated before, it is a 1-year renewal cycle. Now, something that's a bit different with the new requirements regarding first aid and CPR. So all Path International Certified Professionals must maintain your current first aid and CPR for adult and child, but you don't need to submit it along with your compliance every year like you used to. We may require you to submit it with a reinstatement or an audit, but pretty much in any other situation, you're going to be keeping it for your personal records or records at your center. Documentation of all compliance requirements may be requested upon the discretion of Path International at any time. So you may be chosen for a random audit, in which case we would ask for all documentation. But generally, when you submit everything, we don't require extra documentation. It is going to be self-reporting. Moving on to the types of continuing education. So now we have 3 different types of continuing education that you'll submit within the 20 hours. So the first type is General Continuing Education, or CE. General Continuing Education hours are defined as any allowable continuing education hours that do not fall under disability education or certification core requirements. These hours should reflect the overall purpose of all continuing education and the pursuit of professional development. These hours should encourage self-reflection, enhance instructor skills and techniques, and expand knowledge of EAAT, equine management and welfare. The second type of continuing education we have is disability education. Disability education is defined as educational activities that provide the student with a greater understanding of the physical, social, cognitive, and/or behavioral impacts experienced by individuals with disabilities, mental health disorders, or emotional trauma. The education received should help the instructor to understand how to communicate with and more effectively instruct a wide range of EAAT participants in order to increase the efficacy of the learning environment. So basically, what we're saying is a disability education requirement is a broad term that incorporates cognitive, behavioral, physical, social, emotional disabilities, veterans topics like PTSD, traumatic brain injury, or military sexual trauma. It's a pretty broad term that basically just helps you to educate yourself on the types of participants that you would be serving. Another example of disability education would be American Sign Language courses that you might take if you have participants who have issues with speech and maybe nonverbal. The last type of requirement is the certification core requirements, otherwise known as CR. Certification core requirements are defined as the specific type of continuing education hours that one must obtain to stay compliant with each certification held. So here's a list of the different requirements, core requirements for each certification. So if you have more than one certification, you'll want to be sure that you have at least 2 hours in each area for the certification that you have. So certified instructors, all registered, advanced, and masters, must receive mounted riding lessons. Equine specialists in mental health and learning, we can count groundwork lessons that you have received or equine behavior education that you've received. Vaulting instructors, you'll need vaulting lessons that you have received. Driving instructors, also driving lessons that you have received. Now we do have exceptions to these requirements because we do understand that some of our wonderful instructors may not be able to ride for any reason, or drive or do vaulting or even groundwork. So we do have some other exceptions to these lessons that we will accept as certification core requirements. So that would be you can do coaching or receiving coaching from another Path International certified and professional. So coaching is defined as observing a therapeutic lesson and providing the Path International certified professional with positive and constructive feedback on their lesson and or their writing skills. You may also attend a formal education event with an emphasis on instruction or teaching techniques. And now these would be techniques that you would use as a teacher for your students and not horse training. An example of that might be lesson planning techniques, how to work with students in different environments, how to work with behavioral issues with students, things of that nature. Another thing that you may count is mentoring an instructor in training. But please note that mentoring is only allowable if the instructor who is mentoring has taken the Path International Mentor Training course. If you have not taken the Mentor Training course, you may not count mentoring instructors in training for CEUs. However, that does not mean that you may not mentor. Any instructor in good standing, that means current and compliant with your membership and certification, may mentor an instructor in training. However, this is specific towards CEUs. You may only count it as CEUs if you've taken the Path International Mentor Training course. And there's a few limitations that we should talk about. So these are limits on the amount of hours you can get for certain types of CEUs. So to increase the professionalism and to promote a more experienced certified professional, Path International has placed limitations on the maximum allowable CEU hours for the following certification core requirements. Coaching. You may have a maximum of 4 hours for coaching or receiving coaching. You may have a maximum of 4 hours for mentoring. And again, mentoring for CEUs is allowable only once an instructor has taken the Path International training course. And also, last but not least, any riding lessons, groundwork lessons, driving lessons, vaulting lessons, you may have a maximum of 4 hours for all certified professional. However, if you are counting them for your core requirements, you may have a total of 6 hours for all lessons. 4 hours is only if you're counting them for general CEUs, but you're welcome to have 2 extra for your core requirement. Now on to allowable hours for disability education. So disability education can only be limited to the following types of education received. Disability-related conferences or meetings. For example, ADD, ADHD, autism, Down syndrome, a learning disabilities conference, sensory processing, things of that nature. Also, special education conferences and meetings, occupational therapy, physical therapy, or speech-language pathology conference or meetings. Veteran-related education, emotional trauma, phantom limb syndrome, PTSD, traumatic brain injury, etc. So really any veterans topics that you have learned about. Conferences and meetings on general mental health related issues for adults and children. Professional research projects conducted through a college or university or research center. If you do participate in a professional research project, please be sure to include your supervisor's first and last name and the college or university or research center that you did the research with. You can also count online learning through online courses, webinars, or videos from higher education institutions, professional associations, or other reputable learning sources. Now that is something that's new that we didn't really have before. So you are welcome to watch videos at home if you have like a mental health video series. Anything like that would be fine. Moving on to allowable hours for general continuing education. You may use any of the following above. You may use any of the above disability education and also the following education underneath continuing education. You can do formally organized educational events, equine welfare, management, behavior, or skills clinics. You can attend or audit Path International workshops. With the Path International workshops, since they are designed for certification, most workshops are going to be worth 20 hours of CEUs. Most of our Path International certification type workshops will have 6 hours of disability included in the workshop. along with the core requirements for the certification that's the topic of the workshop. So for example, if you attend an ESMHL workshop and you're planning to count it for CEUs, it's 20 CEUs, which includes 6 disability, and your 2 required hours for ESMHL. If you're a certified instructor, for example, or have any other certification besides ESMHL, you'll want to be sure that you have your core requirements met on top of this workshop. The other thing you can attend is the PATH International Horse Expo. This is usually paired with our international conference and annual meeting. Sessions from general horse expos and fairs must be listed individually to receive credit. General Horse Expo attendance is not allowable as CEUs. So what that means is, for example, if you attend Equine Affair, if you write on your form Equine Affair 20 hours and you don't explain what sessions you attended, we cannot count that. However, you can attend Equine Affair and write down each session that you attend and the hours for that session. That is perfectly acceptable, and you are welcome to do that. Another thing that's acceptable is higher education courses that provide a greater understanding of persons with disabilities, whether socially, cognitively, behaviorally, and human behavior. College-level anatomy, physiology, and biomechanics courses. And also any college-level course that helps you as an instructor or an equestrian, or helps you to learn, again, more about disabilities and EAAT. This is where courses like, as stated here, anatomy and physiology would be acceptable. An example of a course that would not be acceptable would be a math course, because math is not going to increase your professional development as an instructor or a person in the EAAT industry. You can also write and submit papers, articles, or materials for publication, including PATH International materials. That would be educational materials, an article you wrote for Strides, an article that you wrote that was featured in our e-news. That would be fine. What we cannot count is the reading of any articles or materials for publication. You can also present on topics or research related to EAAT at professional conferences, symposiums, clinics, and panel discussions. And if you would, the way you would calculate your CEUs on that is the amount of time it took you to prepare and also to present. You can also instruct PATH International workshops. This is for evaluators. Each workshop may be applied to both your instructor and evaluator compliance. So you're welcome to count, for our evaluators out there, you're welcome to count your workshop twice in this instance. You can also retake the PATH International online courses and exams. That would be the CAT exam and the instructor self-study if you do decide to do that. Each of those are worth 2 CEUs. However, we do have a new standards course, which is completely different, and that is worth more CEUs. So you can definitely contact the office if you're interested in that. We can get you enrolled in that. I believe it's a small charge for that standards course. But we're happy to get you in there, and we can definitely assign CEUs to it. Another thing you can do is attend professional conferences. So you're welcome to present at conferences or just attend for the CEUs. Again, attending conferences, symposiums, and panel presentations with the objective of gaining knowledge pertaining to the EAAT industry. You can participate in hands-on exercises to strengthen areas of focus pertaining to the EAAT industry to increase your professional competence. You can coach or receive coaching, as I explained earlier. Please be sure that your coach is current and compliant. It's preferable if you are coaching someone that the person being coached has less experience than the person doing the coaching. However, we do understand that this is not always possible. And the wonderful thing about coaching is a lot of times it ends up being an open discussion where you might learn something from the person being coached that you can add to your sessions, and they'll learn something from you that they can add to their sessions. And last but not least, right here we have the This includes the mentoring for mentors. Again, you can only count mentoring, instructor, and training if you have taken our Path International Mentor course. You can also now do educational webinars and videos. Here is also a link to some of our videos. We've just also recently added videos from the 2016 conference. So if you did miss that conference in Williamsburg, Virginia, you can definitely pop on the website and to our online store and look and see if there's any of the videos that we've recorded that are interest you. You can also do webinars offered by professional equine or disability related associations. So again, you are welcome to branch out and find education outside of Path International. You can also do academic or outcomes-based EAAT research, receiving riding lessons or groundwork lessons, driving lessons, vaulting lessons, anything like that. Again, a max of 4 hours, unless you're counting 2 hours towards your certified instructor for your core hours, then you can have a maximum of 6 hours total. You can also volunteer for Path International, and that would be on a committee, subcommittee, task force, work group, and you can get a maximum of 2 hours for 1 year of volunteering for Path International. You may also horse show judging for Path International Member Center, Special Olympics or Paralympics. You can get a maximum of 2 hours for judging or actually coaching during those events. The other thing you can do is attend or present a Path International Member Center volunteer training. So you're welcome to attend a volunteer training or give a volunteer training, and we're happy to accept those hours. And we're getting towards the bottom now, so thank you for staying with me. We'll just go over what is not allowable as CEU hours and a couple of other points, and then we'll be done. So the following hours will never be allowable as any type of CEUs. You may not count participating in exercise classes or personal training. Horse show judging, of course, outside of Special Olympics, Paralympics, or a horse show put on by a Path International Member Center. You may not count recreational riding, so trail riding, cattle sorting, cattle drive, steeplechase, fox hunting, etc. You may not count general horse expo or fair attendance. As I explained earlier, if you do attend a horse expo or a fair, for example, equine fair, please list out all the sessions to receive credit. You may not count providing human or equine massage, Reiki or acupuncture or acupressure as a service, but you can count receiving the training. You may not count community service related volunteering that is court ordered or any other hours required by a school or anything else. You may not count training that you've received for first aid, CPR, EMT, paramedic, and or first responder. You may also not count administering veterinary care. So shadowing your veterinarian, assisting in giving vaccinations and other things of that nature would not count for CEUs. And again, you may not count observing farrier or veterinarian services. You may not count observing or providing therapeutic sessions or riding lessons, except when providing mentoring or coaching. You may not count your day-to-day job duties, and you may not count the reading of any materials. If you have any more questions about anything that's allowable or not allowable, please feel free to give me a call at the Path International office. Our number here is 303-452-1212, and my extension here is 119. I'm always happy to answer questions and help everybody out. I'm definitely here to help you guys. So you can always feel free to shoot me an email as well. My email is listed on the website and also at the bottom of the compliance form. So we've got a couple other things to go over, and then we'll be done going over CEU guidelines. So one of the last two things is CEU overlap. So a CEU may be counted as disability education, general continuing education, or certification core requirements. but may not be counted twice. Counting hours twice does not provide new knowledge or expand the Path International Certified Professional's experience level in any way. So, for example, if you have 2 hours that you were planning on counting for disability education, you can't double dip and also count those in your total for general continuing education hours. Those 2 hours that you received that you were planning on counting for DE can only be counted one time in your total. And last but not least, a little note on mentor training. The mentor training workshop was created in response to the need for a more formalized education process to enhance the skills of those mentoring. The objective is to increase the number of qualified mentors available to instructors in training. Another added benefit is to provide current Path International certified instructors with a continuing education opportunity while enhancing personal observation, evaluation, and feedback skills. Please see the mentor training page for information on this continuing education opportunity, or visit the Path International events calendar for workshop dates. There's actually a couple of changes we made to that. Definitely you can click on this link and it'll take you to the mentor training page where you can get more information. But the other neat thing is we're going to add online mentor training, so you don't have to attend an event in person. We definitely wanted to do this so that folks do have the opportunity to take this training if it's not available in your area, so you can have the opportunity to count it as CEUs. Once you're a mentor, you actually also have the opportunity to get listed on our website as a mentor in your state so that folks can contact you who are interested in finding a mentor for their instructor and training hours. So that would be a really good reference for some folks. That definitely, once you become a mentor, that definitely is optional. You are not required to be listed on the website. And last but not least, to review continuing education hours you have earned at Path International regional and national conferences, visit the My Professional Development page. Now that is one part. You must be logged in to look at that page, but you're welcome to click on it and it'll ask you to log in and it'll take you to it. And I do know that some regional and national conferences may not be listed under your My Professional Development, but definitely if you did go, we do have record of it on our end. You're welcome to give me a call again and ask me how many CEUs a certain conference was for, and I'm happy to look that up for you and let you know the breakdown of DE, CE, and CR. So this concludes our video for the CEU guidelines, and I'm so glad that you guys did sit through and watch with me. And definitely, again, if you have any more questions about CEUs, please feel free to call the office and ask for Kim, or definitely shoot me an email. My email is ksperry@pathintl.org, and again, that can be found under the staff directory on the website. So thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to speaking with you all soon and looking through your renewals.